All right. Hey, everyone. Hopefully, everyone can hear me. I think we're about to get started here. I see Mark over there with his fancy looking jacket. Can you hear me okay, Mark?
Yes, everything
Awesome.
good.
Is it cold down there or something? Or are you wearing a jacket?
Hey, it's not as cold, but my office is cold.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, like the heater is not working, so
Okay,
sad news.
gotcha. Right now, I think it's about minus 22 or something right here where I am. I'm in
Holy smoke.
Calgary, Alberta, up here in Canada. So let's just see.
Whew.
Yeah, it says right now minus 19. It's going to get to minus 30 tomorrow or something
Oh,
too. So it's pretty crazy.
Celsius?
Celsius, yeah, yeah,
Holy
minus
smokes.
30 is supposed to be, I think,
And
tomorrow or the next day. I'm not sure.
damn.
Yeah,
Well,
got the
the
windows
heater
open.
then is working there, right?
Yeah, so don't be complaining down there. Yeah, it's all working here. Anyways, enough about the weather. Let's give a nice introduction to Mark Diaz. Coming to us from Mexico. My name's Kai. I'm going to be the kind of co-host of the webinar here. I'll be mostly just kind of answering questions. We're going to have a Q&A session at the end of today's webinar. So if you have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the Q&A section of your Zoom panel there, and we'll get to those at the very end of today's webinar. A couple things to go through before we get started. I'm gonna hand it over to Mark in just a moment here, and Mark's gonna give us a live demo. He's gonna kind of explain all the stuff he's gonna do with animation and making your motions really cool in Cartoon Animator 5. I got a couple things to run through real quick here first. First of all, we are recording this and we're streaming it on YouTube as well. We're not going to be answering questions on YouTube, just so you're aware. But yeah, put your questions in Q&A in Zoom. But we are streaming it and we'll be recording it. So if you miss anything, you can always come back and review it at a later date. We're gonna be sending out a survey as well at the end of today's webinar. If you have any suggestions, feedback. I know people have been clamoring for a character creation webinar, and we are working on that. I just want to make you guys all aware. So I know people are like, I want to learn how to create characters and stuff, and that's upcoming. But let's go ahead first here and share my screen. All right, hopefully you guys can see the webinar outline here. So this is what Mark's going to be talking about a little bit later. I'll leave the explaining really to Mark. Just wanted to kind of promote our Reillusion courses page. If you have any, if you want to learn about anything with any of our software, this is going to be your main page that you want to check out, courses.reillusion.com. Okay, if you've joined the webinar, you've probably gone to this page already. So just be aware of it. There's all kinds of like masterclass courses and a full library of tutorials that you can check out on your own time. But a couple of things I want to promo first. In the content store right now, we have a 2022 bestseller rewind. So a bunch of items here that are like our bestsellers from 2022. If you're interested in getting some content, check these out because they're going to be an extra 22% off at checkout. So really useful stuff. A lot of character creator and iPhone stuff in here as well, but there is a lot of Cartoon Animator stuff you might want to check out too. So yeah, I'll put that in the chat window for you guys. Just so you are aware, I'm not going to be answering questions from the chat window. I'll be kind of posting links there occasionally, but all the questions that you have, please put those in the Q&A panel. And hi to all you people from all over the world, it seems. Holy smokes, we got people from, it's very international. Mark, you have a very international appeal.
Awesome.
That's the bestseller rewind anyways. Also, this Cartoon Animator 5 Training 6-in-1 bundle, this is from yours truly, Mark Diaz, the guy beside me here in the Zoom window. He created this course for Cartoon Animator 5. So highly recommend checking this out as well. You can grab that from our this link here. All right. And on top of that, if you are a student or you are an educator, a teacher, or anything like that, we highly encourage you to apply for our 60% off discount. So this gives you like a super crazy discount off of any of our software. I'll throw this in there as well. And this is our education global training page, I guess. And you can find stuff on there for all sorts of educational purposes. I can answer more questions about that later if you guys need. But yeah, and also we wanted to mention as well, I think Mark will mention this later as well. You can always download the trial of Cartoon Animator. So if you go to the store, the software store, you can download the trial. You can purchase Cartoon Animator right here as well, and all kinds of different bundles and so on and so forth. I won't go into too much detail on that because you can kind of explore it on your own time, and I want to give more time to Mark to do his beautiful presentation for us. So I think without further ado, I don't really have much else to say. I'll hand over the reins to you, Mark, and you can go ahead and steal the screen share and take it away.
All righty. Okay, so first, thank you so much for the opportunity here. And now let's get it on to the presentation. I'm going to share my screen. It's gonna stop sharing that one. Okay, can everybody see this? The presentation? Yeah, you
Good
can
for me, yeah.
the chat. Yeah, perfect. And is my audio working correctly? Because in the beginning it was sounding kind of like this, right? Okay, I just fixed it. Yeah. Okay, so perfect. I'm going to continue now. So what we're going to talk about is this, like how to create a motion comic. So before we start, let's see what we're going to be learning what to create, right? So the first thing, I'm loading an animation here. Let me just bring this here, and I'm going to load the animation. I had all the links prepared except this animation. Okay, there you go. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and you guys tell me if they are. Oh wait, no, I'm not sharing optimize for video clip. Let me optimize it, so hopefully it would not lag the image. Okay. Okay, just making sure the sound and everything is okay, right? Hopefully, yeah.
I can hear it fine, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to play it, and this is a motion comic we did that you are going to learn all the behind the scenes and all the secrets of how we created this. Okay, so let's check it out.
先生、先生、ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
Oh, hey, Mark, I think you're sharing the wrong screen there for the video.
Ah,
Showing your folders there.
thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. I thought it was going to pop up in a second there.
No.
There you go.
Ay, Marquito. Thank you. Okay, here it goes from the beginning again. So you see, this is live. This is not recorded or anything.
It's always fun.
Alrighty, let's get it.
先生、先生、ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
それはよかったな。でも心配すんな。すぐにあいつに参加する。死ね。Very epic, right? Very epic. So let's leave it there. Okay, so the question is, how can any of you create something like that, right? Because all of you can create this. Now, there are a couple of skills involved in creating this, and you have to just pay attention to what are your skills right now, what can you do right now, and then be able to create something like this, right? In my case, I created this pretending that I have no drawing or painting skills. Like I can paint those backgrounds and I can do like create all the drawings, etc. But then I said, okay, let me just be a producer of this. If I can produce this, anyone can produce it, right? If you have some budget, or if you are persuasive enough to your friends and you have a really interesting project, like for example, we have a video game that we're creating. I only have one hired engineer and 5 engineers have worked on it. The project is so cool that they joined for free, right? And of course, if it pays off, I'm going to compensate all of them, right? But the thing is, you don't really need a budget all like forcefully. You can have a really cool idea that people want to be part of, right? I'm not gonna go into depth into that in this session, but maybe for other webinars. But I'm going to just tell you how any of you can produce something like this. And so the thing is, I'm going to cover the 8 steps for motion comics, and this is something that I want you to a quote that I really love about Benjamin Franklin. He says, "Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I might remember. Involve me and I learn." That's what I want you to do in this webinar. Not just sit down and just watch this passively. You're not gonna learn. Like if you want to, if right now it's late for you and you're just watching this as entertaining with some popcorn, that's okay. But I encourage you to later watch the replay and then follow along with me, because I'm going to go through a step-by-step animation to create some of the scenes that you just saw. I'm going to give you all the elements so you can practice it with me, right? And for that, I'm going to ask you to right now go ahead and download the free trial of Cartoon Animator right now. Do it. If you like, can you type on the chat who here has everything, like who has Cartoon Animator 5? Just type me if you have it installed. Got it. Me. Okay, a lot of people have it. If you don't have it, type it like this, not me. Like if you don't have Cartoon Animator installed. Okay, Douglas, I recommend Douglas, you go ahead and download it. Okay, someone has Crazy Talk 3. Maybe it could work with Crazy Talk. Not yet, says Sandra. Not me. Okay, most of you have it. A couple of you don't have it. So for those of you who don't have it, all right, so you're installing it. I'm going to put a link in here that you can use to download the free trial, right? And Cartoon Animator 4, you can follow along in Cartoon Animator 4, right? I don't have it. Okay, so Raj, I don't know how to pronounce. What does the video keep going to full screen? I'm watching it in a window that continues. Okay, it's because I'm sharing the screen. So some people are installing it. I recommend you install it right now. Okay, so once you have it installed, I'm also going to recommend you to get the project files. Now, the project files, let me just share, I have 2 sets of project files. This one is the complete project files for the motion comic. This is 2.9 gigabytes. So it's really heavy. If you have a fast connection, download this one while you're taking this, like while you're watching this. But if you have a slow connection, don't download everything, just download the follow-up exercise, and this one is 156 megabytes. And this is what you get, like the full project, right? The reason why it's so heavy, it's because I have everything in there, like the animatic. I have all the production files, the sketches that I got from the storyboard artist, like the panels that I actually created after I got the characters, right? So you get access to every single file that I used to create this. And so the whole project is 3 gigabytes, right? So it takes a long, like all the audios that I used, everything. And I'm going to explain to you how everything comes in together, right? This is like a preview that I use for the thumbnail of this animation. That was my favorite shot. And so in here, this is everything in here is 3 gigabytes. But if you have a slow connection, use this link. So this, I'm going to type it in the chat. I'm going to put it here. Okay, full project files. Oops, files. And this is the full project files. And I just put it on the chat. If you're watching this as a replay on YouTube, you should have these links below in the description. And this is the follow-up exercise. The full files also include the follow-up exercise, okay? So here they are. You can start downloading and you can follow along, all right? So for now, while it's downloading, I'm going to be explaining the theory, right? And no, it doesn't have a virus. You can, like, this thing, like, just as a quick disclaimer, it doesn't have viruses, but just for safekeeping, once you download it, if you have an antivirus, just scan it just to make extra sure so you can see there's nothing. And okay, someone got the 404 error. Trish, you got 404 error. Oh, really? Let me see. I'm trying to click those links. On my end, those links are opening. I'm going to click the link and then the full. On my end, they open. Me too, downloading. Okay, some people can open it, some people cannot open it. If it doesn't open, just copy and paste it. I'm going to put the links again. This is because there's so many comments. Full project files, boop, and then this is the follow-up exercise. All right, there they are again. Okay, leave it, let it download. We're gonna get to it in like in half an hour. For now, let's go to the theory. Let's talk about each of the 8 steps. The first step, it's so important that honestly, in the past, I would only have 7 steps. But then I realized I do an extra step, which is the first one, goal and inspiration. Now, goal and inspiration, seriously, it's so important that I have it as a separate step now, because it's really that important. What I do is I don't just say, okay, I'm going to create an animation, right? That's it. I have this idea, like not a specific animation in my head. I want to create an animation, right? So, and of course, I wanted to look like anime, and I wanted to be done in Cartoon Animator, and I want it to be really cool, really exciting. I want to get excited when I see it. So it has to be epic. What can I do? I like samurais. Okay. The next thing I do is I go to YouTube and then start getting inspired. That's something that I strongly recommend everyone to do. Like, one of the things that I keep saying my students in live classes is I tell them, what's the first step? And it is almost kind of like a trick question, but the first step is always references. I see Nikki, I see you here. Today, Nikki was in one of my classes, I believe. If it's Nikki Osdesa, right? But yes, okay. So you remember in that class, it was like, okay, what's the first step? I was explaining how did I get to this, like a special effect that I applied frame by frame. This is another topic, but is it make coffee? Jeremy, well, yeah, probably that's step 0. You get some coffee. I don't drink coffee, but I'm going to share with you some of the things that I asked in the morning. And it was like the difference between this effect. This is anime being created. I'm mixing some stuff with, let me maximize this. This is done. I used iClone for the posing and then draw over it. And then let me just go to the point. How do I get from this crappy effect, which is only a visualization, to the actual thing that now is looking more powerful, right? How do I get there? The answer was, and then it was a trick question again, references. References. That's the thing. I need references for to be able to visualize and create all of this. I went and see a lot of anime and watched frame by frame how they do it. And so what I did for this specific animation, not this one, I'm going to share my screen. For this one, everything, here's the thing. I'm not being humble. I'm being realistic. I'm not that good. Guys, I am not that good. I'm not this good. I mean, but Mark, you just did it. Yeah, but guess what? I was imitating other people. That's what I was doing. I am not that good. And I believe you kind of require some kind of humility to be able to, okay, you know what? I'm not that good and I want to create something really good. So I better check some references. I don't have I haven't worked in the anime industry or anything. So how come I can come up with all of this? Well, that's because I saw many references. In one of the animes that I saw this, this effect, like the foot, and then like some zoom out. I saw this in an anime called Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and I saw this. And then also in this same effect, let me go frame by frame. This exact same effect, I saw it also in One Punch Man. Like we see like a zoom in and then zoom out. And that even the sounds, the sound I think I copied it from One Punch Man. And so even this sequence of running and then this, so all of that was imitating like an anime show, right? Let me see if I can get where do I get it? Oh no, let me see if I can find it on YouTube. I went to anime samurai fight. I don't have the exact one reference. Dang it. But look, you can see that I copied, even the villain has this look of this guy, actually. Look. This was the reference for that. Look at that. Look at that. Even the character design, I imitated another anime, right? But if you see this and you don't know, look at the master. Huh. It suspiciously looked like this guy. Well, it's because I kind of imitated it, right? And even the bad guy. The bad guy was imitated from this. Let me see if I have this in. Because in a lot of scenes, you only see the aftermath. You see, like in anime, I wanted to avoid doing frame by frame animation on this one because it was planned to be done in how do you like Cartoon Animator, right? And so I wanted to see this. Let me just put when they do some attack. Look, the look and everything. But there's so many. No, but actually this one does have a ton of action. There's some anime in which they don't show the action and they only show like a splash. And then actually I can get it from the previous recording. Let me just get it really quick. I'm going to get it here. I'm going to get this screenshot. Let me just wait a second. I have this. I got this. Okay, it's loading in another screen. I'm loading it in another screen. And here. Okay, let me just. Okay, here it is. Best 15, this is it. Best 15 samurai anime you should watch. Okay, that's it. This one. Best 15 samurai anime you should watch. Yes, this one. Okay, so look at this. In here, there's this moment where you only see this, like there's these bad guys that are going to attack him, right? Let me just go back a tiny bit. And they only show like close-ups of people who are going to attack him and to samurai. You only see this, and then cut. Okay, it's very, very bloody. But look at the shot. Here it is. Look at that. Remember that shot? It's right here. From zoom in to zoom out, and you only see the aftermath. Right? And then there was also a shot where I copied the part where I get the food. Let me see where I got it. But the point is, all of this is me imitating, right? Actually, probably from here. But the point is, at some point, after analyzing and spending time just watching references, you can see all the time I'm taking only on step 1 because it's that important. Like step 1 is incredibly important. It's just getting inspired. I would say like 20% of everything, like of all your work, at least 20% has to be just you watching references. If it's going to take 2 weeks, a project that takes 2 weeks, you should spend like 2 days just watching references, right? Okay, so with that said, now I have something. No, actually, I didn't want to share that screen. I wanted to share this one. With that said, now let's go to the script, right? And in the script, actually in goals and inspiration, you can see that like I added some files in here that you can check out on your own time. And these files are like, let me just open this, but I have to bring it here. I very specified my goal. Like I wanted to create an animation, confrontation between good and evil, etc. You can read all of this at your own time. I recommend you download all these files, right? And then the script. The script is just it's super simple. You just saw the animation. And these are a couple of story questions that help me develop a story that is interesting. And then a quick story for an animated short. And it's basically what you just saw. I'm just describing it from what I see in my head. By the time I wrote the script, I didn't have an animation. So it's just all of this is in my head. And then I put it down to paper. And now this is where I start getting the stuff, the storyboard. This was created with Storyboarder, right? I don't use Storyboarder that much. Now I'm using iClone. But for those of you who don't have a budget for iClone, you're missing out. I recommend saving and then getting iClone because you can do all of this better. But if not, you can use this software. It's called Storyboarder. You can Google it, Storyboarder, and it's for free. And what I did is you can use 3D characters and pose them and pose a camera on different positions, right? So you can see that this is the story and there are some annotations. This is the sensei, this is the girl, this is the bad guy. And then I put some annotations in here because all of this is going to go to the character designer, right? Presha, one of my friends, she's an industry expert that works for comic books and magazines, etc. She's really good. And then I'm just typing instructions for her. She stops crying, pays attention to the enemy, right? And then again, I show that he has a sword in here, etc. And then, ooh, showing sharp teeth. So I do all those annotations. Now let's compare this storyboard with the storyboard that I sent to the background, to Marcelo, an artist from Argentina. Is the same storyboard, But in here, I'm just putting the notes for the backgrounds. Top view, just grass. That's the instruction. And then I want to see trees and then grass in the foreground. Thank you, Jeremy. Jeremy just posted the link for storyboarder, right? And you can see that in here, I'm kind of explaining. By the way, this was not just sent. This was also a presentation that I gave in a Zoom call, just like this one, explaining and answering questions to him, right? So once I have all of that, I start getting sketches from them. And then he starts giving me some progress, like, okay, you told me the first shot should be just the establishing shot, like the woods from a very far shot, and then this shot, and then this guy getting closer with the camera moving in, and so you can see that yes, this is what I was visualizing. He doesn't start working on it unless he gets a green light, right? And this is something that I recommend all of you to do. Do a storyboard and then get feedback from people, from your friends. Tell this is just with the storyboard, you can get people excited enough to join you, right? And then he goes a little bit more like, is this the kind of scene that, yeah, that's what I wanted? And then he keeps doing all of it, right? And then after I get all of that, I now get pressure to, I start mixing what he sent me to the drawings done by pressure, right? Then like the character, you can see that, oh, she stops crying and acknowledges that there's an enemy behind her, right? So we see all of the like, the sharp teeth, and then the food, and then he runs. I'm going to do the zoom out from there. He's running. This is something that I changed. I was going to put this shot and then jumping, but I changed it to after watching more anime. I saw that shot of like feeling as if you are the bad guy running towards the girl. I don't remember from which anime, but it was something I found on YouTube, right? That's why it's so good to be to get references all the time, not only in the beginning, but also like I work a little bit, go back to references, work a little bit, go back to references, always comparing. That way I always get inspired and I'm always motivated, like, yes. Some people tell me like I lost motivation. Okay, you lost motivation. I bet you stop watching what inspired you, right? It's the fuel. Like imagine you have a motivation tank and it depletes. You have to go to the gas station and fill up your car. Just like that, you have to fill up your animation motivation watching videos that inspire you, right? Okay, so continuing here. This is basically it. Now I'm going to start moving faster. And once I have the script, we do the storyboard, right? That's step 3. Step 4 is once I have all the storyboard, I start creating the audio. And the audio, for that, I sent this message. I just copy pasted this. This is a message that I used to hire this like the artist, or Judy or Jojoy, something. Judy, yes, Judy. And I sent her this message on Fiverr. She's a great actress. And then like, okay, version 1, give me these 3 versions. You can read all these messages at your own time. Just you can download it. And then this is the file that she sent me. I'm gonna play it.
先生、先生、ごめんなさい。先生、先生、ごめんなさい。先生、先生、ごめんなさい。
So you can see that. Let's see how it turned out in the end. Let's play it from the beginning. And you can see that I kind of mixed it.
先生、先生、ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
Nice. So what I do is basically I record all the audio. The audio doesn't, it's not that hard to do, right? You just, if you're not a good actor, hire actors and they do a terrific job. I am against getting automatic voices, right? There are some software, but usually they don't deliver the acting, the really cool acting that real people can do for you, right? Like I could not get this from an AI voice. I see a lot of people using the animations that, hi, this is the product and it's amazing. And it's like, what? It's so boring. It has no flavor. Okay, so once you have that, you proceed to the audio. When I say the audio is basically just recording the voices, but then you start doing the animatic, and basically the animatic and the audio happen at the same time. What you do is you basically take these two, and while you're doing the animatic, you start adding the special effects. This is the moment when I added the and all those when the camera moves, right? And so you could see that while I was doing the animatic, you can see the file in here. Let me just share the screen. I was able to, let me just open the folder. Product animatic. You can see that in here. I'm gonna play just a little bit, just so you can see. This one.
先生先生
In here, the camera is going to be zooming in.
ごめんなさいごめんなさい
You can see, did you see that? I just used a plugin called Mr. Horse, and Mr. Horse allows you to do those kinds of transitions. I didn't do anything. I just, okay, use this transition, boop, and that's it. And you can see that I have the music, I have the sound effects. Now, I'm not going to go into detail. Check out Respeecher for voices. That's what I don't recommend people to do. Like voice. Oh, I mean, Respeecher, is that actors or machines? Is it a machine run? I'm just curious. Options for Max now. Voice cloning. Ah, okay. If it's a machine, then it's probably not going to have the acting like, no, don't do that. I don't think I can get a machine to do it like that. Like, no, don't. Right. What's the plugin called? Mr. Horse. Mr. Horse is for After Effects, also for Premiere Pro. Just like that, you type it, Mr. Horse. You go to YouTube. Not YouTube, to Google. Then Mr. Horse, and you get a plugin that is called Transitions. I'm not gonna go into detail in that. I have another course for production for this. But the thing is, I start doing all those effects to visualize. And guess what? All of this gets me more and more excited. Like, basically, producing is an exercise of visualization. And then you visualize it more and more and more and more. And then you start adding details until at the end you have an animation. But that's it. Just go step by step, visualizing, references, visualizing, references, visualizing. And then at some point you get more ideas and you go back and adjust some stuff. Like I removed the shot of the character running in the side view, right? I removed that and changed it for the shot of the camera going towards the girl, right? As if you were the villain. Okay, so once you have that, now you go to step 6. I have everything visualized. I can be using the animatic to get people to join my project if it's low budget, or if I want to hire someone, right? In this case, I could hire that's the point where I could hire someone like the artist or like whatever I need for my project, right? And basically, all I have to do in production is create all the things that I need to bring every single shot to become something real, right? This is production. So you can see that I have the background sketches from Marcelo. You can check them at your own time. And then he sent me the PSDs, right? For the raw Photoshop files so I can render in separate panels. And then these are all the characters painted and shaded, right? Now you can see that the colors are warm colors, and the actual animation is cold, right? It's dark, it's bluish. That is because I used color correction in After Effects, right? But for now, actually, no, I did it in Photoshop. I did some color correction, but it's not right there. And then I have the final renders, right? You can see all of this is something I recommend you go at your own time. And then the animatic, the final production of the animatic without movement. All right. This is, again, more visualization of how this thing looks. And just this could work without any animation. I'm going to play a little bit. I'm going to play from the middle, from here, from where the action starts. Look. Okay, you can see that in here, we still have all the intensity because the sound, the music, everything is exciting. And it gets like, oh my goodness. It's the question is this exciting? If yes, I want to continue. I get motivated. If it's not exciting, then I need to go back and do something about it, right? But the thing is, this visualization, all of this is so fun to do, right? Like, and this alone, that animatic alone could work, right? I have like, yes, I put camera shake, zooms and fades and everything. Now all I have to do is bring each project to Cartoon Animator and animate it, each file, and that's it. And I'm gonna be done. That is also very fun to do. So you can see that most production took like 90% of the time and 10% was animated in Cartoon Animator. Does that make sense? I get a ton of people, like students asking me on emails, on Discord, asking me like, how do I rig? How do I, like, very technical questions about rigging? And I'm thinking like, that's the wrong question. You should be asking like, how can I bring my story to reality? That's what you want to do. You want to tell a story. You want to share an idea. That's the thing that you want to do. And once you do that, you can get very smart about it. Did you notice that there's a lot of action? Like, one of the things she did was cutting that guy, jumping away from him, and then landing. Did you notice that I never showed her landing? Because I'm too lazy. I don't want to, like, how can I rig a character that does this? Like, oh my God, and it's going to look weird. Like, I can show it through cutaways. So that's why I use a storyboard, right? So lay out your boards. Yes, look at this. Pay attention and how I got away with it. And all of this is working because there's a lot of action and a lot of character positions that I don't show when they change, right? From there, let me just go to the very end. Look. Aftermath. I didn't see her land, and you're not going to see her stand up because that would need a ton of rigging in Cartoon Animator, right? Look, I just have this shot and this guy cut away to see him die. No, actually, that's still setting the scene. We still see her in her knee. And then he dies. And then she's standing up. Hey, we didn't see her standing up. Here's one thing that nobody told me here. Like the comments in here in the chat, I was saying like, oh, awesome, that's cool. Blah. Like I saw positive comment. No one said like, hey, Mark, you didn't show me how she stands up. That's cheating. Nobody, because the point is to tell a story. Okay. So production, like when you do everything right, you don't have to worry that much about like the rigging and all the technical stuff. And so this project is so easy that we have 15 minutes. I'm going to take like 20 to 30 minutes for the follow-up exercise. So now we're ready to do a follow-up because the next step is, let me just go to here again. Oops. I want to go to step. We are on that one. Okay, so production. The next one is animation, basically taking each panel and animating it. And then I'm sharing the correct screen, right? Let me see. Yeah. And then finally, once I do all of those scenes, I put everything together in an editing software, right? Just so you know, I'm not going to explain how I do that because I have a full course for free that you can join. That if you want, you can go to my page. Let me enter as incognito, so I'm logged out. If you go to 2D Animation 101, let me just go to 2D Animation. 2D Animation, and you go to all courses, you're going to see at the very bottom this free video editing for animation in Movavi. This is a training that you can follow along with Premiere Pro, Final Cut, DaVinci Resolve, which is free, right? You can follow up in any software. The point is, get the idea of how you use a software for animation, right? And it's very simple. You just take all the shots of the animatic and you change them for the animated scenes, right? Now, if you want to see, you can go to all the assets that I use. This is for production, right? And if we're going to animate panel 6, for example, I'm going to use all of these elements, right? I need this character. And you can see that instead of me rigging a mouth, I said, you know what? I'm not going to move anything. All I'm going to move is the mouth. So why not get all the images and all I change is the mouth? That way I don't have to be struggling with Cartoon Animator. Look, I'm just going to the next image. That's the next, right? Okay, and this is a visualization of how everything should look like. Now, how about we get our hands dirty and start doing some animation? Well, okay, by now your project, depending on your internet connection, your project should be downloaded. If it's not downloaded yet, then I recommend later going back to the replay of this video that is on YouTube and then follow along. Right now you can relax and just watch. I just want to see first, and then you can follow up. I strongly recommend, remember, you're not going to learn unless you do it with me. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to share my screen, but I'm going to share this screen where I have Cartoon Animator. Okay, so if you want to follow along, you're going to see, let me go back to this exercise, which again, I recommend you get all the files, go folder by folder, and then check out every single folder and every single file that you find in there. You can see that the animation part, I provided all the animated scenes. I just rendered each one and included them in a final project for the final animation, right? This is each clip that I used to put together. I'm just opening. These are all the clips. I just took all those clips and put them together in an editing software. Okay, and then this is the final render. So I recommend you do that. Now, if you want to follow along, you can open the exercise follow-up, and you're going to see panel 6 and panel 17, right? There's the 4K version and the HD version. Depending on the power you have on your computer. And some people are asking for the link. I'm going to send it again. Okay, I'm going to provide the link exclusive for the follow-up. Now, I made a mistake. That file doesn't have the sound. So let me see if I can add the sound audio. You're going to need, what panels are there? 6 and 17. Okay, 6 and 17. You're going to need, not there, Animatic production, audio, 6 and 17. You're going to need these two audios. Let me drop them. I'm going to try to attach them on. Let's see, attach file. What? I'm trying to send this file through Zoom. Okay, I cannot do that. Apparently, it has to be from Google Drive, not from here. No, not working. Sorry. So you're just going to have it without the audio because I didn't include it in that file. It's my mistake, sorry. But just download it. And Animatic Cyclone software is an Animatic. Animatic. And okay, I'm reading the comment. Animatic Cyclone software. I use iClone for animatics for visualizing now. I'm not gonna go into that, but that's what I use. Okay, so let's get it started. We're going to go to here, and then I'm going to, for this demonstration, I'm going to go with 4K. If your computer is not strong enough, use HD. Let's use panel 6, and it's very easy. Now, if this is the first time you use Cartoon Animator, let me show you around really quick. We're going to start by just clicking and dragging each of these files into Cartoon Animator. Very simple. All you do is click and drag, and you add this one as a prop, not as a background, as a prop. And then because it's too large, blah, 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 you just click yes. Every time I'm going to be clicking yes. And now let me show you around in Cartoon Animator. If you want to zoom in, I'm going to add the annotation so you can see everything that I'm pressing. If you want to zoom in, you can press Alt and then both clicks, right? And it zooms in and out. Or Alt and then just the left click and it moves around, right? So let me just share the screen. Alt and only one click moves around. Alt, both clicks zooms in and out, right? In here, the annotation only says left, but it's not registering that I'm pressing two buttons at the same time. But I'm actually pressing both clicks when I do the zoom in and zoom out like this, right? Okay, now what if you don't have a mouse and you have like a trackpad in a laptop? Well, you can use these tools up here. This for camera zoom, or press the Z and then zoom in and out. And then this one for the pan view, or pressing X and then you move to the sides. And then if you want to go back to the selection tool, you use this one, select. And now I can select things, right? I'm not going to be using those. Instead, I'm going to use this shortcut. Okay, so I have this background. Now I'm gonna press Alt Tab just to find this one, okay? The folder. Now I'm going to add the villain. Let's add the villain. And I'm going to add him not as an actor, as a prop, because I'm not gonna move him. All I'm going to do is change some images for his lip sync. And I'm gonna pose him. Like you can see that this drawing is incomplete. So I don't want people to know that this drawing is incomplete. I want this to go outside of the screen. This is the screen, right? I'm going to prove it to you. Like, let me put it like this and show this background like this. You can see that this part of the background will be out of the screen and the lower part of the character won't be showing, and this space will be showing by pressing on the preview. This is how this thing is going to be rendered. Look, you can see that there's gray and it's all wrong, right? The lower part is not showing because, let me put this away, because that marquee is the edges of the screen. So I'm going to put him there and then take the background, put it here, make it bigger, and let it be there. Okay, now, if I zoom in and out, I see a very flat image. I don't want that. I want parallax. Parallax is the effect of 3D. So what I want is to take this background and then use this arrow and push it backwards and push it away, very far away. Look, in here it says 2000, minus 2000. Let me make this bigger. And now if I move, look, ooh, now it brings dimension when I zoom in. The shot is gonna be me zooming in. So I'm going to push it even more to maybe 3000, like 3500, right? And then make it bigger again. And by now, ooh, yes, look at this. Now it feels like the trees are behind him. Now let me position the camera in a way that the character is, the arm is not like there. Okay, I'm going to go to scene and then hide the background just to make sure. Yes. Here are some tabs, which by the way, maybe I'm going a little bit fast. If I'm going too fast, I recommend you check the replay and go slower at your own time because I'm running out of time. I'm going to keep the pace up. Is the pace okay? Am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? Hopefully it's okay. But for those of you who don't see the scene, you're okay. Thank you. There's scene and there's content. For the scene, if you don't see it, you can go to window and make sure you show it here, scene manager, right? Okay, so in the scene, you can hide the background. Okay, everything is in order. Now I want this guy to be able to speak. For that, I'm going to select this character, and right now I'm in stage mode. Stage is where the animation happens. If I want to edit this character, I need to go to composer mode right here on the top. I click there, and now it says, look, composer mode. There's no other things like the trees and everything disappeared because I'm editing this item exclusively. So with this, I just click on this character, and now I'm going to click on sprites, which allows me to add more drawings to it. I click on the sprites, and then it opens the sprite editor, right, of this villain. Right now, I only have one drawing. If I go to my folder, I'm going to take villain 1, 2, 3, and 4. I just click on the first one, hold shift, click on the last one, and now I can click and drag these to Cartoon Animator. I just click and drag, drop it there. It's going to ask me, I'm going to say yes to every single drawing. Yes, and then yes to the other two, and we're gonna be done. There's 3 of them and 1 more. Now I have this character ready. Now, look, I can change and animate it, right? Oh, actually, I didn't like the order in which these were added. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, this is weird. I'm going to remove them. It's because I'm going to explain what happened. When no, I want to delete. I'm just selecting and deleting. Really quick. I'm going to import it again. But this time I want to select this. I'm going to change the view to here like this, and then select the first one. I drag from the third one. I want to drag from the first one. What happened, I'm going to explain while I'm importing. What happened is that they imported, but not in order. It imported like the order was 3, 4, 1, 2, and that gets me a little bit messy when I'm animating. I want it like this. 1 is the face totally closed, and then 2 a little bit open, more open, more open, like levels. That's how I want it. Perfect. Now that I have that, I can close this and then go back, and I just have one more item to add. this could work, but I also created this let me change again to here, this scene where I call it the effects, and it's some kind of shadow and some kind of light. I'm going to add it just so you can see what this does. I'm gonna add it as a prop, press yes, and look at this. It's just this effect. And all I do with this is I put it on top of everything and just have it with the size of the screen. And look at this. Look, I can hide it, but this gives more like a more cinematic look, right? It brings this kind of moonlight, desaturated moonlight, and then some shadow, and makes him look more cinematic look, right? I saw this on anime. I didn't get that idea on my own. Exactly, it's grading. I got this idea from watching references all the time, right? And I get excited like, oh yeah, and I imitate them. Okay, now that I have this, we can do a quick animation in here. I'm going to open this, like the timeline. The timeline is right here at the bottom. You just click there, it opens. And then from there, I'm going to make sure that this is activated, the object related track. And then I'm going to click on track list and then project. With the project selected, I'm going to click on sound effects. I want to bring the audio for this guy to talk. For if you guys have the complete files, you should have access to the production, right? I go to production and then audio clips for each panel. And I'm going to take the panel 6, this one. I'm going to click and drag into the timeline. In English means that's a good thing. Like he's basically saying, I'm happy that your sensei is dead, right? Like, ah, ha, 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 this is good. So that is what makes him evil. So what I'm going to do is he starts talking, like saying this. Ah, yo katana. So he has to start with the face open. I now going to click on villain and then open the sprites here, but now I'm in stage mode. I'm not editing, I'm animating. I click on the sprites right here, and now I'm going to have him like more open. Let's see. Sort of, wow. Okay, so, and then he starts closing his mouth. Okay, and then he starts closing. He has to close. Yeah. Now, I'm going to tell you something about anime and why I like doing lip sync for anime. In anime, the lip sync is not like American cartoons. In American cartoons, you have the O, A, U, you have all of this. Cartoon Animator 5 has all of that in their characters, like the American. But the anime, you watch it and they only do this. Like they just move their mouth like this. And that's it. That's all they do. So that's what I'm gonna do. Just open like a puppet, right? So that makes my life so much easier. So I'm going to now show the keyframes because I don't see anything happening in here. I go to motion, scroll down. I can now see the sprites. Let me move things around. I want it to happen on this. I need space for the k, which is going to be this one. And let's see how this looks. And again, the t is going to be like this. And then just closing a tiny bit. So you can see that I'm basically going through number 3 and number 2, just 3 and 2, 3 and 2. But the last Nah, I'm going to open it more and then move a couple of frames forward and then close it a tiny bit like this. Let's see it. That's it. Now I want to end the animation when the audio ends right there. To end it, I just go to the timeline and press this button. Boom, that ends the animation. Let's have the loop activated. This is deactivated, this is activated, and it's going to be repeating. Now the last touch, I'm going to animate the camera. For that, I'm going to click, scroll up. I have the project showing. I'm going to click on camera, make sure I'm on frame 1, frame 0, right? If I was in another frame, make sure I go to frame 0. And now I'm going to click on I just double click in here and it added 1 keyframe and it activated the recording. Let me delete this. I cannot delete it. Well, okay. It's because I have this thing open. There you go. I can disable the camera right here or enable it. Right now, I can move my camera around and I won't mess up with the animation of the camera. But if I activate this and then I'm on frame 30 and then I zoom in for something and then I go to another frame and I zoom out, all of that is movement that is being recorded like, hey, what's happening? Well, all of that happened because I was recording the camera movement. Now I'm going to click on this keyframe, delete it, click on this one, delete it, and go to frame 1, and then position the camera where I need it to be. I need it, like I'm zooming out and zooming in according to this. I'm going to actually disable everything and just put this square, this invisible square in place. That's basically what I'm trying to do. There it is. So having that should frame the entire animation. Let me just check that the villain is in position. Yes. And then the background. Yes. Nothing is floating. Perfect. Now I'm going to go to the last frame by clicking here and then zooming in and moving the camera a little bit. Let's see. Now I want more zoom in. I alt zoom in more. And then that's it. And we have a scene. I render it as a clip and then I put it together with the whole animation, right? Now let's do another one. Okay, we should go to Q&A, but I think I can do this in 5 minutes just so you can see how fast you can animate in Cartoon Animator. So let me take 5 more minutes. Is that okay, Kai? 5 more minutes and then we go to really quick. Hopefully it's okay. So for this, I'm going to go, okay, some people are saying, okay, with me, perfect, Cheryl. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going to create a new document. I'm not gonna save this. You can see the saved file in here. And I'm going to now open panel 17, start. This one has everything pre-animated, right? I'm just going to look, this is what we have so far. For when she cuts him. We don't see her doing that. This is the aftermath. So before I start doing anything, I want to disable the record function so I can have the camera work, the working camera. I disable this and now I can move freely without messing up the project, right? Go to frame 1 or frame 0. And then I'm going to bring in panel 4K 17. If your computer is not strong enough, use the HD version. I'm going to use 4K and then bring her, click and drag and bring her as a bone actor because I'm going to add bones and then press yes. And then in here, I'm going to get this like all I do is when you bring this character in, you're gonna see that you have the bone editor open. If for some reason you close it by mistake, you can get it back again by pressing in here, bone editor. I press, and then I start adding bones. I start from the hip. I saw a student starting the character bones from the feet, that's wrong. You have to start from the center of the character, from here. You're gonna see why. I start from the hip and then start adding the torso like this, and then the neck, the head, and then a bone for the sword. And then I just right click. I then going to click on this bone, click on add bone again. Let me bring this closer. And then click on the shoulder, click on the elbow, the wrist, and then the fingers. Right click. Now I click on the hip. This is the central bone. Then click add bone and add this. This would be the hip, and then the knee, this, and here, right there. I'm going to do the same for the other leg. I first click on the original, like the hip that connects with the leg, and then this is the leg, this is the calf, and this is the feet, the foot. All right, now this is ready. If I press preview, I should be able to take this foot and move it. Yeah, like I'm not going to move it too wildly because as you can see, when you move it too much, it distorts, right? I don't want to do too much movement. Like my intention is to move only very little and it's going to look great. So I stop the preview, I go back in here and we are about to finish. Now I have this character. Let me make her bigger, just proportionally to be the size. And this sword has to go like going out of the screen. Right now this is out of the screen, but I'm going to leave it like around here, maybe around there. And then from there, I'm going to open the timeline, go to the end, which is frame 62, and then just move forward like this, kind of in this trajectory, right? Let me go back and play it. So you can see that she's traveling, right? All good. Everything is looking really good. Let's activate the camera to see how this looks. Very good. Actually, I don't like it because for the camera, she's almost out of the screen. I want to bring her down a little bit. The sword should be out, but her face, I want it to be more in. And then go to the last frame and then bring it closer like this in this trajectory. Let's go back. Yes, that works. Perfect. Now I'm going to do a little animation for this. I'm going to press K, which is the same as pressing this button right here for the key editor, right? The bones, for moving bones, the motion key editor. Now with that, I'm going to go to frame 1 and then set key and then go to the end and then just move reposition her a little bit. I click on this bone and then bring this a little bit down like this. The effect that I'm looking, this is the motion that I'm thinking. She's doing this. She's going to land, right? So I should show that. This leg needs to go in and both legs have to go in like this, right? So I'm very subtly, I don't know how to subtly, with a lot of subtlety, I'm doing that, right? And then this hand at the end is going to open a tiny bit more up, just like that. Let's see. Look at that. Now this is alive. And that's it. We are done. You can see how everything becomes so much easier when I visualize it. I didn't have to go and rig a character that stands up and gets on their knee and her knees and then no, none of that. I cut away to something and then I come back and then she's standing, right? So visualizing everything with a storyboard is so the main takeaway: references and use a storyboard. 80% of the work is planning and just 20% is actually doing the thing, right? Okay, so that's it. Now we can go to Q&A. Welcome back, Kai.
Hey,
Hey.
sorry, earlier, I think my headset is running out of batteries. So if suddenly in the middle of talking, I can't hear you, I apologize.
Ah, okay.
So we're going to see how long this lasts. Normally it lasts about half an hour. So I think I'm okay for most of the Q&A here. Yeah. Oh, there's Gary. Hey, Gary. It's in the chat
Hey,
there.
Gary,
um,
bye. Good to see you here.
right on. So let's do this Q&A stuff then. Thanks for the presentation, Mark. That was awesome. A lot of really good like technical stuff in there as well, not just about like the, you know, how to animate in Cartoon Animator, but also the kind of the theories and stuff behind the animation, which I think helps out a ton of people, like especially a lot of the newer users for sure. So yeah, thanks for that. And we'll hopefully have some questions in that regard, in that kind of topic. So let's go to that then. First of all, Michael Smith. I was watching a Reillusion video tutorial last week about converting Mixamo motions to work in Cartoon Animator using 3D Exchange. But 3D Exchange does not seem to be available now. Is there another way to convert these Mixamo motions to work in Cartoon Animator? Yeah, you're right, Michael. We no longer offer 3D Exchange. So with Character Creator 4 and iClone 8, everything is handled within iClone. So you can actually import the animations directly into iClone. There's tutorials on how to do that. You don't need to use 3D Exchange anymore, thankfully. Just another application that we didn't need. But yeah, you can bring those directly into iClone. Now, I'll maybe for briefly here try to find a quick tutorial about that. iClone, let's iClone 8. Here yeah, it's been such a long time. Importing custom motions, I think this one is going to work just fine for importing Mixamo animations. So I'm going to share this into the chat group. Oh, you guys probably can't see my screen, of course. Let's go ahead and share that old screen. There we go.
There you go.
Okay, so this tutorial here is called importing custom motions, and you basically just bring them right into iClone. This is done by me, I think, whoops, a little while ago. You can recognize my voice there. A couple weeks ago, actually. Okay, so it's pretty new. This one goes into a lot of detail, and it's actually bringing in animations directly into iClone. So I'll throw this into the chat window for you guys. Jabam, there we go. And that should help you there, Michael. Check that one out. If not, you can also just search for like Mixamo, probably in here. Look at the zoom thing out of the way here. iClone, and then in the not motion director. Where is it again? Oh, gotta bring this zoom stuff out of the way. Facial animation, motion editing. I think it could be in there. There's not one for animation specifically. So sometimes the way they organize these is a little strange, but yeah, you can always look in these tutorials here. I know they're even in YouTube, you can just search like Mixamo import or something like that, or import animations to iClone, and you can probably find it there. But yeah, I haven't looked at the layout of this in a second. So, but importing would probably be pipelines. Yeah. Importing custom motion. There you go. That's the same one I just linked to you. But I don't think there's any for Mixamo specifically, but yeah, stuff like from Maya, Unity, you can import animations from there anyways. Just check out all of these different, sections here, and we'll, you'll find it eventually. I don't want to kind of bustle about here because I'm low on battery in my brain and in my headphones.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one from Philip. Where's a good place to learn how to make custom costumes and clothing for G2E characters? So Phil, we have some tutorials in the Reillusion courses page for that. Nothing is really super comprehensive at this point. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, we are looking to have a webinar that deals specifically with character creation. So look forward to that. You can, of course, just go to the library, all products, go to Cartoon Animator, and you'll find stuff for character creation here. Sorry, I'm just moving windows all about if you see my mouse moving in weird directions, but yeah, so here's one where you can use like an SVG editor to create your own character. This is a cat character we did a while back. This is a pretty good one. You have to have an SVG file and using SVG color adjustments. So that's one of the formats that the only format right now that we accept for importing in vector format content. So if you're not familiar with vector format content, it's basically stuff you can enlarge in Cartoon Animator, and it doesn't lose its resolution. It'll just recalculate to maintain crisp lines and stuff like that. So really useful. Mark says Cartoon Animator 4 or Cartoon Animator 5 takes forever to load a project. Yeah, sometimes it does. It really depends on the project you have, and obviously the speed of your computer, but that can come up in certain situations. Question from Walter: should Reolution insert option? Insert option for automation physics on human characters. Yeah, we'd love to do that. That's probably in the future, in the near future for Cartoon Animator, maybe the next version. Right now we have the spring effects. I know we didn't talk about spring effects today, but that's an amazing new development with Cartoon Animator 5. So that's great. Let's move on to the next one from David here. Was Crazy Talk just rolled into Cartoon Animator, or did those capabilities go away? Yeah, basically everything from Crazy Talk 8 was rolled into Cartoon Animator 5. There's really basically everything you could do in Crazy Talk, you can also do in Cartoon Animator 5. So if you're on the fence about whether you want to purchase Cartoon Animator 5, can I do the same thing as Crazy Talk? Yes, it definitely can, and like 100% more too. Let's go to the next question here from Mark. Another Mark. This one's Mark Dent. Will Cartoon Animator 5 get something like AccuRig for rigging cartoon characters to make it rigging simple? So Mark's obviously a character creator 4 user. AccuRig is an application that we have. Yeah, it's for character creator, and also a standalone application that allows you to auto rig characters. This gets into 3D rigging, which we don't want to talk about right now, but basically it automatically creates your bone structure for your character. So you right now in Cartoon Animator, you have to do it manually. And honestly, Mark, I think that is something that will be added into Cartoon Animator maybe 6. I can tell you this, I say this almost every webinar, like all the features that you see in iClone and Character Creator, basically in the future, you can expect those to be in newer versions of Cartoon Animator, because it just basically takes a little bit of programming magic to bring it over to Cartoon Animator. So, and Cartoon Animator is only in version 5 right now, so you'll see a lot of new improvements in the future. Sorry, Mark, I'm just whipping through these here real quick, just in case my headphone runs out of batteries. Mike is asking, how do I get an educational discount for training? So Mike, if you want an educational discount, just go to the Reolution Training Center. I think it's change the I think education.reolution.com still takes you there. Yeah. So this is a global training center, and there's a form. Whoops, darn it. There's a form down at the bottom here where you can go individual licenses right here. Click on this, and then down here there's a form. You need to log in, obviously, to your Reolution account and fill out the form, and it sends off to us, and we send you the coupon code. All right, so I'll throw that in the chat window once again for you guys. Just a reminder to put your questions in the webinar or in the Q&A panel there instead of the chat window. Anonymous attendee, I think this was mentioned in a previous webinar, but is there any news about a 2D character creator made by Reolution? Yeah, that's it's like the previous question was asking about AccuRig. So all of that stuff is currently in development, and you can I won't say when you can expect it, but we want to make it really good before we release it. So character creation, obviously, I'm surprised really that character creation is such a huge topic in Cartoon Animator right now. But yeah, we will have that in the future as well, but so you can look out to that. Just got another warning here: recharge headset, and I don't have any other headphones handy, so I might lose you. Okay, next question from Randy. When we apply smooth motions for eyes and facial animation setup, how can we cancel and revert back to default instead of recreating everything from start? Smooth motion for eyes in facial animation setup. I'm trying to think what you might be talking about there. But they're generally when you're talking about character setup in the 360 head creator and everything like that, there is an option to, revert back to default. I can't really show you where that is. Mark, are you familiar with that?
Not really applies. I'm not very familiar with that specifically. Cancel and revert back to default instead of recreating it.
Okay. Maybe Randy,
maybe
sorry.
I'm thinking that maybe after you add something, apply. I would need to see a file, but maybe it's just removing the clip and start over creating a new clip if you're doing
Oh yeah, I
facial
think
animation.
he's talking in actual animation. I was just thinking about, for some reason, I was thinking about the head setup, but smooth motion for eyes, Control Z.
Yeah. I mean, if that doesn't work and you can remove the
Just
like,
keep pressing Control Z, Control Z,
yeah.
Control Z, and you'll get back to it eventually. Sorry if that's kind of a dumb answer, Randy, but that's all I got right now. Question from Mark Dent again. Will Cartoon Animator 5? Okay, I think that's the same question. We answered that already, but Accurig and Cartoon Animator 5. Question from Sichi Wang. Could you please explain the capacity of vector graphics, like using Spring Dynamics to animate an SVG? Can Cartoon Animator 5 export SVG frames? So currently, Cartoon Animator has a pipeline with SVG, so you can export to SVG format, or rather, you can't export SVG format. Sorry, I misspoke there. But you can import the SVGs, and you can live update them when you're there's a kind of a pipeline. You can live update them when you're updating them. Just like with our Photoshop pipeline that we had before, you can live update them when you're working on them in Photoshop or Illustrator, or whatever program you might have. Yes, you can use Spring. Obviously, you can use Spring Dynamics to animate your SVG props and characters. It doesn't matter the format, whether it's vector or regular graphics. You can use Spring Effects on all of those. And we will have, again, we will have a tutorial, more tutorials, and actually a webinar talking about that in the near future. So pay attention to your emails going out, and we'll try and get that maybe in the next month or so here. Question from Cheryl. In Sprite Editor, can you not change the order? He removed them and brought them in again. Mark, do you want to comment on that?
The Sprite Editor?
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you?
Changing the order of the sprites?
Yeah. I don't think so. I can try it right now. Let's see really quick.
I don't think you can click and drag or anything like that.
No, I don't think so.
I think it is just a matter of deleting and bringing them in again, to be honest.
Yes, yeah, I do too, because I kind of tried, but look, I'm right now in composer mode. I go to sprites, and I'm just going to add this. I'm going to add these three, even though it doesn't make sense, but it's just for the test right here. And if I wanted to change the order of these, then yeah, you cannot change the order.
Yeah, I don't think, and I mean, the order doesn't really matter in most cases. Yeah. I guess it matters for your own personal organization, but in terms of functionality, it doesn't really have any effect. Okay, well, thanks for the question there, Cheryl. Good to know. Alan, I thought this was about comics. So yeah, I think it's about, Alan's mentioning that the webinar topic may not have been about comics. I mean, I think it was about comics pretty much. Like a moving comic is anime, like a manga style. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Alan, moving comics are definitely a thing, and I know a lot of people are using Cartoon Animator
actually,
for moving comics.
The type of animation of this is not, as you can see, is just panels of a comic, right? It in this case would be a manga, right? Because it's Japanese. But all it is just a panel that moves us slightly. That's a motion comic. So as you can see, in some point when I showed the animatic, it was a slideshow of a comic, right? So it's not fully full, like when people, that's not an animation. Yeah, I know it's a motion comic. So motion comic is just a slideshow that has tiny movement. And I just also add lip sync. That's optional for motion comics.
Yeah, everything that you learned today, you can basically apply to motion comics as well. Exact same concepts.
Probably you were expecting Marvel or DC type of drawing. So it's the same, just the drawing style changes to Marvel or to DC.
Okay, next question from. Okay, I just lost you there, Mark. So I'm going to basically be going by your mouth speaking if you're talking or not. Headset just ran out, and I can't find the charger right now. Anyways, we'll go to the next question here from Randy. Asks about how can we make our work area zoom out and not affect the camera zoom out. So that's something with the record button on the top of your toolbar there in Cartoon Animator. If you have it active, that'll be your active recording screen. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
I can
show.
It. So
maybe I'll look for my a different headset or something while I'm at it here.
Look, it's this button. So you disable it, and then you can zoom in without any problems. Or if you activate it, careful, because now it's moving the camera of the scene. And then disable it, and then you can work. So it's just that button right there. Okay. And then, okay, Kai went to find some. Okay, I'm going to try to, Kai is the expert in Revolution, so I'm going to try. In the first demo Mark did, he added a keyframe at frame 1. Can he explain why he did that? Janice! When? Like, for the sprites, let me see if this is what you meant. I'm going to go here. Let's say that I animate this guy, or I bring, let's delete him and bring him back again. Where are you? Here. I'm going to bring this guy as a prop. Maybe it's called an anchor. Maybe you refer to the when I added the sprites, right? Let's say that I go to sprite and then I go to empty, right? What I did is, I believe, actually, I think I need another drawing. So I'm going to just add some random drawings for this. Oh, no, I believe for the movement, right? For the movement of this character. Let me see if that's what you meant. This one, I think it's when I added the first keyframe, right? If that's the question, then I just press set key. That adds a key exactly where it is, exactly how everything is. So hopefully this answers the question, Janice. If you are on the chat, you can type it. But yeah, probably that was it. Just in the motion key editor, which you get when you press, let me close it. You press this little fellow right here, and then set key, right? I just click there, and that's it. Okay, now next question. Answer live there. Okay, so has Revolution considered creating a plugin to link Cartoon Animator to Unity, like your iClone to Unreal plugin? Oh, interesting. I don't know. So Seth MacFarlane, this is something that only Kai can answer. I'm going to go to the next question. Done. And then I'm going to leave that for Kai. And then can you give a link to a tutorial showing some easy ways to combine live action green screen input with the animation components? Actually, yes, there's a tutorial. I'm sharing the screen still, right? Yeah, I'm still sharing the screen. Let me go to here and show you. You can go to Revolution, actually. You can find it here. I recently saw it. There's a tutorial. I'm sharing the screen still, right? Yeah, I'm still sharing.
Okay, I'm back. I'm actually logged into the YouTube live stream on my phone here because I couldn't find
okay.
I'll
show you. You can go to Revolution, actually. You can find it here. I recently saw it It's so surreal because I can
There's
hear
a
myself
tutorial. I'm sharing the screen still, right? Yeah, still sharing.
Okay, I'm back. I'm actually logged into the YouTube. Oh, there's a delay.
Yeah. So weird.
That's not going to work. Let me just try with a Zoom. I'll have to log into a different account though. Sorry to interrupt. Keep going.
Okay.
Sorry, Mark.
It was so weird. Okay, but that was funny. Let me share the screen. Like you can see that live action composing by Christopher Mayer White. This guy explains it really well with a beautiful animation. So just click there. I'm gonna share this tutorial. He does really good tutorials. I recommend subscribing to him. And let me copy and paste it here. Right? You can find some of his tutorials if you also look for him. But yeah. Okay, now I'm going to have that as answered. And then time travel poor man style. Yeah, and I don't have a student ID, so what do I use? That's something that needs to be answered by, I'm going to stop sharing, by Kai. Thanks. Mark Diaz, sir, how do you animate the running of the villain character? Did you deform that? Okay, so I answered this. I mean, you type it on the chat. I answered on the chat, but I can answer here for everybody. Okay, so when I was expecting blood sweeping out. Okay, just commenting on Ruben's comment. The blood would make it rated R, and I wanted to keep it for kind of the like not too violent, so I removed the blood. But yes, that's for adults, like when you put splashes of blood. Okay, so answering your question, how did I animate? Let's go to the animation. This sequence, this is what you're asking, right? When this guy runs towards her, like. So this is what's happening in here. You can see that this guy is running, getting closer to the screen, right? So there are a couple of things happening. I can show you here how you can do it. What I did is that I rendered this like a sequence of him running, and then I added this in After Effects. I added the camera shake because in After Effects I can get this blur when the camera is moving too much, right? Like that motion blur is something that I really wanted here. Okay, so I can show you how you can do it. Basically, what I did was creating these 5 drawings. 5 or 6 drawings. I don't remember how many. Let's go in and find. You can find everything in production. Assets, and you can see it was, I believe, panel 12. No, panel 13. Panel 10. Okay, it's panel 11. It's not there. But you can see that production renders, production for each scene. It was this one, panel 11. So what I did, I'm going to open one of these just to show you, because what I did is I used a 3D software to pose because I'm not that good of an artist. And so I need references. I need this help. Let me see if I have the. Why is this not responding? For some reason, Photoshop. Okay, there it is. It's responding now. Let me hide all of this. Do I? Oh, okay, I don't. This is a more advanced file. I don't have everything. But this was actually from a 3D model. There was a 3D model in this position, right? And so I just went to that model and then painted over. I just added the clothes, etc. And I just had these 6. What is it? 6 frames. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then all I did was go frame by frame, one by one, and I added them and just flip through them and repeating them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, repeating it and then making it closer. You can do this also in Cartoon Animator. Like you can, in sprites, you can animate those 6 sprites and then just have the character getting closer to the screen, and that's it. right? So yes, Slater, it was kind of rotoscoping from a 3D model, right? Now I don't struggle that much. Now I only have a running sequence in iClone, and I just draw on top of that running sequence in iClone with camera moves, etc. Okay.
All right, I'm back, Mark. I hope you can hear me. And
yeah,
there's
there's
a little
echo. You're
Yeah.
kind of in heaven now, like, hey, how's heaven?
Yeah, sorry about
Oh.
that. I died and came back as an angel.
yeah. Watching over
Cool.
us.
Yeah. So I'm back now. I think you kind of answered a bunch of questions already, right?
Yeah, like I left the questions that I believe you can answer, like this one from Seth MacFarlane.
Well, there's a question from Janice saying, why do you have to set that key?
I answered it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Answer live. Okay.
So,
So the question from Alan about sorting your ordering on image importing using storyboard to do in the order you require. Not really sure the exact question. Are you reading the same one as I am from Alan?
yes, but he's way below. There's a bunch of questions earlier than that.
Oh,
Okay,
crap.
then I can
can't
read
see
them.
those because I logged in again.
Okay, I can read the first one.
Sure.
By Seth MacFarlane. Has Revolution considered creating a plugin to link Cartoon Animator 5 to Unity, like your iClone to Unreal plugin?
Yeah, that's one thing that people have been talking about for quite a while, especially because Unity really excels in the 2D game creation realm. We don't have a live link prepared right now, but I mean, if there is enough demand for it, we'll put some resources into that. But right now, I don't think there's anything in the cards for that pipeline at the moment. But again, if there is a lot of demand for it, because we have limited resources, we're developing a lot of stuff at once. Then we'll definitely look into it. So if you guys are really looking forward to, a pipeline that goes directly from, Cartoon Animator to Unity, like an auto setup or an auto import or something like that, please let us know in the forums, our chat groups or Facebook groups, whatever.
Yeah, so the
Gary
developers know
is
there's demand.
head of one of the Facebook groups here and for Cartoon Animator. He says I'm no angel. What a guy. Anyways, okay, sorry. Yeah, so a lot of people, Pavel here, saying Unity is very important, and I agree. I learned how to use Unity quite a while ago. I've been mostly focusing on Unreal, obviously, because I mostly work in the 3D realm. But Unity, I love Unity. I think it's quite easy to learn and very powerful. So I hope we can get that together as well. Okay, maybe Mark, you want to read the next one? The first question I have is from Paul Renshaw. So
okay,
maybe you have an earlier one.
Then I don't have a student ID, so what do I use? My Christ, it's a follow-up from the educational one.
Okay, if you don't have a student ID, just show us like a transcript. Basically, as long as it has like a date of your enrollment on it, that's totally fine. It can just be like a transcript or something like that. Basically, any document from the school that has a date of your enrollment, just so we know you're an eligible student, because we don't have partnerships with the schools yet. But yeah.
Okay, awesome. Next question. Does the Leap Motion plugin will be updated to use the latest driver? It is only working on version 4 of the driver right now.
Yeah, Leap Motion, man, I don't know if there's gonna be an update for that for sure. I don't know when it's gonna be. It's gonna be this year. I know that's a kind of a wide range of dates, but the Leap Motion update should be within the next quarter. I can tell you that, just because a lot of development stuff, resources are going into the 3D stuff right now. But
awesome. And then I have this message by Gary Pye. Gary Pye is on the house.
Gary Pye in the sky.
I'm gonna put it on the chat. Send like the one who was asking about the eye and that thing. Gary Pye is offered to help. Like he said, you can send it to him, like garypye@revolution.com.
Yeah, hey Gary, throw the link for that Facebook group or into the chat. So this is probably one of the most active groups for Cartoon Animator. It's probably more active than our forums, to be honest. Lots of great stuff there. We post a lot of stuff there too. Gary basically moderates that. You know, if he swears at you or uses some crazy Aussie slang, just don't be offended. That's just kind of, he's a little rough around the edges. It's the way he is.
Okay.
Yeah, don't send
Then-
nudes.
And then
Yeah, just go to that
I'm gonna I
link,
got this
there in the
idea.
chat, and you'll find it. You guys will find it in the chat window there.
Question by Pedro.
Okay,
How
sorry.
can-
Let's go to the next question there. Anyways,
Yeah, question by Pedro. How can I make a composite video in Cartoon Animator 5? In 4, I could do Apple ProRes. This is not a choice now. What should I do?
Apple, what? Sorry.
I mean, when he had Apple, he could do
Mhm.
it in Apple Res, right? But
Oh,
now
Apple Press. Okay, yeah.
now in Cartoon
Compositing.
Animator 5 for composite, I believe you just need to export it as MOV. Are you talking about a video with transparency? Then probably is MOV.
I would say compositing anything would be use the After Effects pipeline. I know a lot of people
Yeah,
don't
that's
have
the best.
After Effects, but we did webinars before in After Effects, I think, right, Mark? We've done one where you used
Yeah,
After Effects.
yeah.
Yeah. That would be my suggestion for compositing, to be honest, because it's fairly common compositing software.
And it's
You have
faster to
any
work
other
on.
suggestions?
That's it.
Yeah, that's really all I can mention as well.
And then another question, I'm gonna put it by Paul in the chat. Will Cartoon Animator get a tab or allow for more than one scene at a time?
More than one scene at a time.
Yeah, probably for the cuts. I would be against that.
For like multiple
Because-
cameras, you mean? Or
Probably maybe like multiple cameras, like in iClone, that could be really cool. Maybe that could
I mean,
work.
you can always open up multiple iterations of the same program and work on them
Really?
separately. Yeah, I don't know why you'd really want to do that, to be honest, but because it just wastes more resources.
Yeah,
'Cause,
it's so
basically
heavy.
you're running double the resources, so it doesn't really make sense to do that. It's better just to load up another project. But maybe if you're talking about in terms of the cameras, Paul, I think that yeah, that's something that we're working on. We want to have multiple cameras, that we can just choose from a drop down menu, and I think that's coming up within the version 5, so maybe not 5.2 or 5.3 or something like that.
Yeah, for camera cuts, I think.
Yeah,
it's a
yeah, because it'll be
great
easier
idea.
just to switch between the cameras instead. Yeah.
But I mean, for different scenes, that is so many resources. I don't recommend you work on a project like that. I recommend the
Yeah.
pipeline that I just showed you. That pipeline is what in the industry uses. Okay. And the
Yeah, I mean,
next
you don't need to do more than, I mean, you can always just, like I think Gary mentioned here in the chat, you can just always do one scene at a time and put them together in post-production. So in your video software or whatever.
And
Is the next question you have up there for Joseph?
No, by David Filson, like Joseph.
Weird, my Q&A is really messed up. Okay, go ahead. Can you
No,
see it?
I actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more questions, and then I get to Joseph.
Okay.
So this question, I put it on the chat by David. It's not a question, it's a petition. Like, you should have Gary Pye teach character creation in a workshop. Gary is awesome and very helpful. Gary
That's in the
Pye,
works. We actually just talked about that today. So you guys can look forward to that in the near future here.
that is so awesome. Alrighty. Okay, next. I'm using the trial version of Cartoon Animator 5. It ends in 2 days. When I add some characters, they come with watermark. If I happen to buy Cartoon Animator 5, will they go away? Yes.
Yeah, they will. I mean, as long as you didn't trial purchase the characters as well, because you can trial purchase stuff from Marketplace, but it'll come with a watermark, and when you purchase it, the watermark will go away. It's called DRM protection, digital rights management, and you can trial download stuff from the Marketplace, but if you purchase it, the watermark will go away. Yeah.
Okay.
But all the embedded stuff with Cartoon Animator, obviously, if you purchase, will no longer have a watermark. Yeah.
Awesome. And then the number of control points, the question by Siki. The number of control points doesn't change if I animate in SVG, right? Is there such an adaptability if you deform the SVG? The control points of the freeform deformation probably is what you're talking about. Then no, it doesn't change. Even if you animate in PSD or SVG, it doesn't matter, vector or pixels is the same amount of points. The only thing is that it doesn't pixelate when it's vectors.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, the SVG or graphic format doesn't really matter.
Okay.
What's the next one you got there?
Then you just took your webinar already. That was a comment. It's when you move the heroine. Okay, Janice, I see now what you meant. Okay, this is a follow-up, and then we go to Joseph. Now we're going to be. Let me go to share my screen. It was when I moved her, right? So when that happened, I didn't do anything. I just went to frame 1 and just positioned her and just go to the ending and just moved her. That's all I did. I didn't even click anything. Cartoon Animator did everything for me. It automatically added these keyframes on transform. But honestly, that's why Cartoon Animator is so easy to use, because you just click here. Like I can create a new document, right? No, I'm not gonna save it. And just have this character and very easily, incredibly easily, get that this character move. This is all I did. I'm going to add her as a prop just to keep things super simple. I just have it here, right? I go to the timeline, I go to frame 60, and then move her. That's all I did. And now I have an animation. Let me have that as the frame end. That's it. Very easy. So when I moved the heroine was probably that, or when I added the key, the bones, right? I just press the set key in the beginning. Okay.
Yeah, and Cartoon Animator has that handy little green line that shows you, where you're going from what frame to what frame, right?
Yes.
Something that iClone doesn't have that Cartoon Animator does have.
Okay, now the next question is by Joseph. Does Clip Studio Paint, do you have that question now?
Yeah, I got that one. That's the first one I got, yeah.
Okay, then we continue from there.
Okay, does Clip Studio Paint and Crit a link up like Photoshop Pipeline does?
Yeah.
As long as it uses PSD format, it doesn't really matter what program you're using. Yeah, to answer your question there, Joseph. Currently, SVG pipeline is still in development, but the PSD pipeline is totally fine. Yeah, any software that uses PSD format, Photopea, what's that one? Inkscape. Yeah,
Inkscape. I haven't used that one. I have it installed, but I don't use it.
Yeah, a lot of free stuff out there for PSD editing. Some better than others for sure. The next question I think is from Jeremy. You got the same one from Jeremy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which forum?
Which forum would be the best to request the Unity live link feature? Good question, Jeremy. We have a wishful features section in our forums. So if you go to try to type over my cup of coffee here. Forum.reallusion.com. And I'll throw this in the chat for you guys. Well, I can share my screen actually, I guess, to show you how I'm going through this here. Share. There we go. All right, so forum.reallusion.com, and go down to the section for Cartoon Animator. And there's wishful features right here. And throw your wishful features in there. Like our development team checks this regularly, daily. So the more demand there are for features in this area here, I'll throw this in the chat window for you guys, if I can find it. Oh, there we go. Everything's the same color here. There we go. So you can throw your suggestions in there. Honestly, maybe even a more direct way to get our attention would be to just, bitch and complain to Gary Pye. I know he likes people to complain on his Facebook page there that he moderates. Loves doing that every day. He says it's the highlight of his day. But go there and just put your wishful features there as well, and obviously he passes that on to our marketing department as well.
And Gary Pye replied, "What?"
He told me it was the highlight of his day, so I mean, I can say that with a straight face. Lakpa is it kidding? Yeah, he does. Okay, Lakpa Sherpa, next question here. Can you show the rest of the animation tutorial where the character is running? I don't think we'll have time for that this webinar, Lakpa. But I think you can contact Mark separately and get, review the materials that he was showing throughout the webinar, and take a look at that stuff for sure.
Yeah, like I don't have a tutorial of the character running, but if there's enough demand, you can write to suggestions at 2D Animation 101. Let me type it on the chat. Suggestions at 2danimation101.com for tutorials or ideas, and I can create a tutorial in the future. That's not for Cartoon Animator. That's frame by frame animation, which is different. I use iClone for that.
Suggestions. Oh, Gary. What a nice guy. So anyways, I guess that looks like all of the questions we have. That's quite nice. I didn't have too many questions this time around. So yeah. Mark, you have anything to add? Let me just stop sharing my screen.
I see one last question by Shy Will. Like, how do you
go for it? Yeah.
How do you edit a specific animation on the timeline? Like changing the head, the limbs, okay. That is something that you do in here, in here is just what I did. I'm going to open the project. Let me open the finished project. Where are you? Project files. And then the end. This project, you can actually test it on this project. Like let's pretend that this is a full brick character. And then in the middle, I want to change something. I can go to the timeline, click on motion, and with the motion key editor open, I can find, like, for example, go to this frame. And if I want, I can extend this leg like this, right? And I'm adjusting the animation right there. And then it's going to animate really stupidly. And then in this other frame, I do like this, right? So you can see that now we have very weird movements, right? So you can adjust it right there in the timeline. Just open it, have the bones, and then adjust it. And in there, you can adjust everything that you mentioned there, right?
Cool. Yeah.
That's it.
Thanks for that, Mark. I think I don't see any more questions. Do you? Just
No
double checking
questions.
here. All right, guys.
Good.
Apologies for the headset running out there of batteries. It doesn't really have like a meter that I can check before every webinar. I recharge it, but yeah, I think that's really all there is to it. I'd love to thank the lovely presenter here, Mark Diaz, coming to us all the way from Mexico. And thanks for being with us again, Mark, and thanks for sharing your knowledge, just animation knowledge and knowledge of the software and everything like that. Anything you'd like to add yourself?
Yeah, I want also to see a webinar with Gary Pye. Come on, Gary Pye.
Yeah, we're working on that right now. So we're gonna have a whole group of us together and doing some fun webinars and stuff. And hopefully all you guys enjoyed the webinar today as well. I think I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, a lot of joshing around and learning. So yeah, as always, guys, remember to fill the survey, get the 10% discount from the content store as well. You can download the trial, you can mess around with by yourself. The whole program is only like $149 right now, so it's relatively inexpensive. Highly recommend picking it up if you have any interest. And yeah, I think we'll just sign off with that. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Gary, over there in the land of the kangaroos, for being with us today. And yeah, we're always available, forums, Facebook, and email, and all that stuff. So feel free to reach out. And I will bid you guys all adieu and have a good Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning,
Alrighty.
wherever you are.